I'm now going to hand over to Claire, and Claire is going to talk to you from her perspective as a candidate and also as a member of her local PNC.
Thanks so much, Penny, and I can't wait till you're in the Senate. It's going to be so awesome. It's going to be really exciting. I'd like to also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we're on tonight, the Yagara Yugarabal people, and acknowledge that their sovereignty has never been ceded, and this always was and always will be Aboriginal land, and we need to do a lot more to listen to voices like, and the stories that like Auntie Deb Sandy was telling us tonight, and we need to keep that fight going. For those that don't know me, I'm Claire Garton. I'm the Greens candidate for Moreton in this election, and most of you probably know where Moreton is, but it's nowhere near Moreton Island, Moreton local council area, or Moreton Bay even. That confuses a lot of people, and I'm getting a lot of campaign emails actually from people that think I represent or campaigning for things to do with Moreton. But anyway, it goes from about the PA hospital down to Runcorn, from the motorway to the east and across to Oxley, sort of in the west. I guess ultimately I'm in politics because I'm all about, I want fairness, equality, and just kindness. Really, that's what it all comes down to for me. And the Greens policies really align with that, and just try to make all the policies are about creating a society that's fair and equitable for everybody, and helping vulnerable and people, and lifting people out of poverty, and all of those sort of things that we just should be doing, and that most of our politics is just totally abandoned. With respect to education, look, for me, education is probably one of the most important fundamental things that we can ever have. Access to good education creates, like critical thinking and, problem solving, and all of those sorts of those attributes that I think that are just so powerful when people can actually, read information and analyse it and think it through and make their own informed decisions, and that, whether it be on science or anything, all those sorts of things. I don't expect people to be able to rattle off, pi to 5 decimal places or anything, but being able to problem solve and critical thinking, I think, is absolutely fundamental. And right now, our education system in this country is just not fair or equitable. So many people aren't given the opportunities to be able to have a decent education and be able to to learn those skills, because it's cost prohibitive. And even though public education, if you think, oh, it's free, but it's not free. I went to public school all my life, when public primary schools and public high schools, and both my parents were high school teachers actually, and so we travelled around the state a little bit as well before we sort of settled down in North Queensland. And, I felt, I don't know, but it felt like education was sort of more accessible to everyone back then, than it is now. So now I'm a parent, and I've got 2 children that go to primary school. And so we've experienced the, childcare, because both my partner and myself are professionals in our day jobs. And, so we didn't have the opportunity to be able to stay home to look after our children. So we put the childcare, but it's prohibitively expensive, and effectively, it was 3/4 of one of our wages at least, just to fund childcare so that we could further our careers. And, it's not kind of fair really. And now they're in primary school, they're in a state primary school, and as always been, as it has been mentioned already by Penny, there's a lot of fees and costs involved in that. In fact, I'd say it's several $1,000s a year when it comes to excursions and all of the extras that you're kind of expected to actually have to contribute to. And if you don't, it's probably going to stigmatise your children, or and so you're between a rock and a hard place. So look, I come from a place of privilege that I can actually afford these, but a lot of people can't. And that's just not fair when it comes to public education. Also, I'm on a P&C committee for our school, and I've been doing that for a few years, and I see firsthand of what the P&C is expected to do for the school nowadays. So our P&C had to raise money to put solar panels into the school, we had to raise money to put air conditioning, and we had to raise money to put fans in the school hall. All sorts of things like this that to me, it seems like a fundamental thing that the school should provide, and the P&C should be, therefore, potentially just running tuck shops and sort of extracurricular sort of things and liaising with the community more. So, it's becoming a sort of a fundraising arm to be able to fund infrastructure for the school. So, totally don't think that's fair either. What else am I going to say? So Penny mentioned a lot of things that are brought up, policies, which I think it's absolutely fantastic. A lot of it's, cost of living type relief. So if we can make, childcare free, university and TAFE free, just the bottom line that saves people is immense. Now, Penny didn't actually allude to how we're going to actually pay for that, but our policy is to tax billionaires and make big companies pay their fair share of tax, which they should be doing anyway, but they're not. And because 1 out of 3 companies in Australia aren't paying any tax, which is just crazy, really. So we have a detailed plan on a super profits tax for billionaires and large corporations. Was it 5% tax over profits of $1 billion? Is it 100 million? And it's incredible what that actually could fund. So all of our policies are fully costed, independently costed by the federal treasury that does that sort of thing. So so I'm happy to answer any questions, or if anyone wants any further information on anything with the campaign, just by all means reach out to me. And that's it for me. Thanks, and I'll pass over back to Penny. Thank you.